Welcome, everybody. This is a new episode of the mini Zoom series, Confessions of a Facilitator, about facilitators with facilitators and their favorite tools. And for those of you who don't know Access Consciousness, because we are talking about tools of Access Consciousness, well, this is my crazy idea about it, this huge toolbox full of tools. You pick one, you pick another one, and you change your life just like by magic. And then, there's a condition to it that you choose for that change. And today I have the pleasure, the leisure, the surprise to have as a guest Marnie Barranco. And Marnie, before you get to speak, I speak a lot. So there are two rules. Rule number one, we have fun. Rule number two, when rule number one fails to apply, we go to rule number two that says apply rule number one.
I like these rules.
This
I can do.
That's as much as a rule that we can follow.
Yeah, the only one probably. Likely.
Wait, but I come in place with the form and the structure, you know. So now I'm like okay. So Marnie, who are you, and what is your favorite tool? And from then on.
Okay. So who am I? My name is Marnie Barranco, and I am an Access Consciousness facilitator. And I love the question, who am I? Because that's about the only definition I have, which is actually not really definition. Because you said favorite tool. This wasn't the one I was going to talk about. But since you asked, who am I have to say one of my favorite tools is to wake up every morning and say, who am I today? And what grand and glorious adventures will I have? And I love that because it's the adventure of life, the adventure of living, the having fun, the joy, the playfulness, all the things. And the who am I today, because for so long I tried to define myself to figure out what's the image that I'm supposed to be. Who am I supposed to be? What does everybody expect of me? And how do I try to fulfill all of that, which was exhausting, boring, frustrating, overwhelming, and all the things. And then I gave that up and got to discover that I can choose every single moment of every single day how I would like to show up. That because I'm an infinite being, there's actually no definition to me. So in any given situation, I can say, what's going to work here? What's going to create here? Who can I be in this situation to have ease, to have joy, to have fun, to create greater than I ever thought was possible? And then I get to choose and be that. And then 10 seconds later, I can choose and be something else. I'm never locked in. I'm never defined. I'm never in a box. I never have to buy anybody else's point of view about me or agree with their labels or fight against their labels. I just get to say, who am I today? Okay, I'll be that right now. Who am I right now in this 10 seconds? Okay, I'll choose that right now. No definition. So that's the very long answer to who am I?
It's not the very long answer. It's like the energy that you put into it. It's finally, I don't know how to explain it. Every time I'm asking facilitators to, to share their view on the tools and how they use it. And to me, it's also, I get to see them at work from a different angle. So I'm kind of cheating. Yes. It's first for me and then for the rest. I'm sorry, not. And then the energy that you put in that long explanation, which was absolutely brilliant, I'm like, yes, now I get what the energy of a tool is. Is this what you would call becoming the tool, Marnie?
Yes, very much. And it is when we first learn tools, and I tried a lot of tools before I found Access Consciousness. And what I found with other modalities and things that I used is I would work really, really hard for a very long time and get very little results. And no one continues to do that. If you work, and you don't really see the change you're looking for, you go screw it and never mind. But when I found the tools of Access Consciousness, I have to say they were easy, they were simple, they worked quickly, and they kept working. And things kept getting easier and kept getting greater and changed faster. But when you first get the tool, there is that space of, well, this is new. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to play with this. But the more you choose it, the more you play with it, the more you reach for that thing in your everyday life and all the things you deal with, the more you do become the energy of it. And you don't even actually have to mentally, I don't have to get up and every day, who am I today? What grand and glorious adventure will I have? Although I like to ask that question because it's a fun question, but I don't actually have to keep doing, because at some point you get, oh, yeah, I actually am this. Actually be this in the world. It's not an effort.
And you were saying, yeah, you could start with doing, and at some point you become it.
Yeah.
And that's how much are we so entrained to do stuff so that we see that it changes, and when it doesn't change, then, well, fuck that tool, it didn't work. And what got you over the threshold, that no, it's not working? Because yeah, I have to admit, for me to see the results, it would have been like, show me yesterday. But was I willing to see anything that was happening yesterday?
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Well, I would say one of the things is I stopped trying to measure results based on outcomes that I saw. So instead of looking with the measuring stick of, is this enough? Because it's never enough for me. As you said, it should have happened yesterday. So it's never fast enough or never enough. So I stopped measuring from like external things. And I just started to pay more attention to my sort of internal world and went, it's actually really quieter in here. Even if I'm not seeing exactly everything I want to see change out here, wow, in here is really a lot calmer. In here is a lot more happy. In here is a lot more space. So I'm going to keep going because I like this. I like this space. I like this joy. I like this ease. And so, yeah, I'm going to have more of that. So I stopped judging based on results and started getting the sense of, wow, I'm showing up very different in the world. I'll have that. I'll have more of that.
And thank you for saying that, because it shows. When you're choosing for more of that, it shows it, whether it's you or it's me or it's somebody else. And then people say, oh, you changed your hairstyle.
Yes, I know.
or you lost weight.
Right? Those are the things. If you're female anyway, those are the things that they like assume is what's going on. But it's so funny. And a lot of times people don't even recognize you. I've had that happen where I was in a grocery store line with someone I knew very well for a long time. And they turned around and I said something. And then she looked at me and turned away and looked at me again and turned away. And she goes, Marnie? I said, yeah. She goes, I did not know you. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's so cool. Because it shows on the outside. You show up different. You show up very different.
And I can confirm this, because when I saw you in Costa Rica the first time, it took me like moments to look and say, is this Marnie? Is this Marnie? No, I'm going to make a fool out of myself. No, this is Marnie. Marnie, is this you?
Yes.
And I'm not sure what happened into your world. It's like, evolving, but it was so gorgeous to see. Whatever you told in the first definition of not,
yes. Yes.
That was like, wow. And it gives me the chills. What would it take for me to reach that point where, hey, whatever I choose it. I am who I am. And if I don't know who I am, what would it take for me to discover?
Yeah. Yeah. And to let go of the expectations that we have for ourselves and the expectations that other people have of us. And so when you say, what is that thing and that thing I see, there's been a lot of different choices I've been making, but a really, really big one is I've been so very good at knowing what everybody else desires, requires, demands, expects of me. And a lot of times I sort of went, I can actually do that. Yeah, well, I can actually be that. Yeah, it's fine. I can meet that expectation. I can fulfill that need. And it's not that that's bad or wrong. And it's not that that's either, a good choice or a bad choice, right? A wrong choice. It's just a choice. But what I started to get is I'm not actually including me and asking, what would I like to choose? And if I wasn't trying to make everything okay for everyone else, make sure that I was meeting all the things they expected of me, make sure they weren't disappointed in me, make sure they weren't upset with me, that I was ticking all the boxes and doing all the things, but at what cost? So I went could I, first of all, clarify what is true for me? What do I desire? What would I like to create? And then giving myself permission to choose it, to be it no matter what. And that part right there required a little bit of continually choosing that, because when people have relied on you to be who you want them to be, and then you say, and you don't say it from fuck you, I don't want anything to do with you. It's not that energy, but it's not a fighting against anyone, but it is, you know what? I do care about you. I do have value for you. And I'm going to choose for me. I'm going to choose what I desire. And people who are used to you being in the corner, in their little box, the way they like you to fit, there's a little bit of a because they don't necessarily like what you're choosing. So in the face of that, awesome tool, who am I today? What grand and glorious adventures will I have? And include you in the creation of your life and the computation of your life, instead of it being all about everybody else.
Wow. That's like, let me go back and take some notes. I'm like, wow.
Well, but and whose permission? It's actually, look at the energy. If you're stopping you for any reason, whose permission have you decided you need to have your life? Do you need your children's permission? Do you need your husband's permission, your wife's permission, your whatever partner, your mom or your dad? You might be 60, but you're still waiting on your mom to have the approval for what you're going to choose. And we can say it sounds crazy, but energetically, so often we live our lives based on whether someone else is going to approve, and we're waiting for them to give us permission to be us and to show up as us. They may never give it to you, so will you give it to yourself? Will you set yourself free from all of their expectations and give you permission to create the life you desire and be the you who showed up on the planet?
Whoa. I'm like, thank you for that. It's like, before we started the interview, my husband, he was watching something I've been doing, and he looked at me and he said, are you actually asking permission from me, or are you looking for validation from me to say that this is good, that this is bad? Because whatever I ask him, his only answer is, it's good, it's okay. And it was that sparkle, that moment right before this interview.
Yes.
When I said, I'm not asking permission, I'm not asking for validation, but what am I asking you actually? What am I expecting from you? So it was like, it's not validation. It's just that I wish that what I do would have an impact on him, and somehow he would see that he has a greater choice or whatever. Like, superior bitch.
Yeah, but you know, I was trying to write this on my Facebook this morning and then I got sidetracked, but I was wanting to post something about whatever your reality is, you created it, you can have it, you can keep it. And I'm no longer going to be superior in trying to insert myself into your reality to change it for you, because I've decided you could have a greater one. I'm going to have my reality. I'm going to let you have yours. And it's not about judging yours. It's not about mine is better than yours. It is simply it's not my job to insert myself into your reality to try to make it better. You created it, you like it, or you'd be asking for something else. So if you're not, you can have yours and I'm going to have mine. And that's okay. Not from judging, but from, again, setting ourselves free.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Wow. Well,
we misidentify that if I care for you and I see the reality you're living in, and I know something greater is possible. I know you could be so much happier. I know you can make so much more money or whatever. I know you could, because I've dug myself out of that thing and I created something else. I'm like, oh my God, but you could have something else more awesome. Okay. And they have chosen and created their reality. So it's not caring to go in and try to insert myself and change the reality to what I think is better. Caring is, I'm going to let you have yours and I'm going to choose mine.
Wow. Caring is, I'm going to let you have yours and I'm going to choose mine. Meme.
Yeah.
Meme.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, but Marnie, one last question. How does it work with children? Because with children, I don't know, I'm working on it, asking questions, stopping myself. Who are you when you're doing this?
Right.
And still there's this hitch, this last, like, hook.
Yes, I do know.
But can I totally fully trust you that this is what you choose? Because legally I'm like responsible for you until you're 18. Help! How do you apply this with your kids?
So I would say this one, and for me too, is a muscle that I've still choosing and still working on, because at times I can go with that really easy, and then there will be what you just said, that thing that sort of hooks you. So kind of a few pieces I would say is actually to ask yourself when you're going into, you need to take responsibility for them. Is this person, even if they have a teeny tiny body standing in front of me, are they an infinite being? And if they are an infinite being, are they actually capable of knowing, choosing, being aware of their choices? Yes. And I mean, I'm not saying that you let a 2-year-old run out in the street. I mean, you're aware of the physical environment, all those things. But when it comes to them making a choice as they're getting older, that you're like, not my choice. How can you empower them to know that they are an infinite being? And I would say the other thing, though, is as parents, we have to be willing for them to screw it up and not decide that it's our fault, that we've done something. Because so the guilt is often the hook anywhere. And I was actually just having a conversation about my son with someone else about this very thing, because he's very good at picking something and going, oh, I can make mom feel guilty about that. And so he'll say the thing, and then I'll go, yeah, he's right. I should probably, not travel as much as I do, and, whatever. And then whenever I give into that little hook of guilt, then he just can manipulate the fuck out of me. And it's a downward, not happy spiral. So I was like, wait a minute. Anywhere I'm choosing guilt rather than choosing to know that my children are infinite beings and empowering them to choose for themselves, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to choose something else. So that would be one thing. And then I have to say that I was at a Symphony of Possibilities class with Dr. Dane here. And we were doing trades, which is like energetic work on one another. And my son, the same son, this was about a year ago, was my partner.
Whoa.
And I was working on him. And I was, when you just like, there's just this block. I was getting nowhere. So I'm like, Dane, help. So he comes over and I said, hey, I've been trading all the last 3 days and it's been awesome and fine with other people. Now I'm trading with my son and there's this block. And he said, you are trying to be the mama bear rather than being the energy that would blow his reality apart so he could have a greater one. And I was like, oh, fuck. So that was like bam, bam. So when I find myself doing that mother bear, getting hooked into the guilt, oh my gosh, I'm not being enough for my kids, I'm not doing enough, I go to what he said to me, and would I be willing to be the energy that just annihilates his reality so he can have a greater one?
Can we just come up with a charge of pod here and like
all the pieces brought up, everything? Yes Can we destroy and create? Yes. Right, wrong, bad, pod and puck, all 9 shorts, words, meons, and choose. And the thing with kids, I would say, because I had this conversation the other day too, I'm like, how many times am I going to have to be that energy with him? Because he will require me to be that, no, you don't get to manipulate. No, I'm not buying your story. You are very capable. And it's not words, but I will energetically go, not playing the game. Not buying the bullshit. And I was like, how many times do I have to do this? Can't we just stop this? But what is that child, whatever they're choosing, inviting you to step into? More of you, more potency of you, more empowerment of you, more choice of you, more of you being you. So what if even if you have to do it 100 times a day, whatever that thing is, that or that energy you have to be with your kid to change it. What if you were willing to choose it and go, oh, thank you for the invitation to choose more of me. Oh, thank you for the invitation to step into never diminishing or shrinking myself for anyone.
Wow.
Even you, one of the most precious beings in my life, I will not shrink or diminish myself even for you.
Wow, this was full blown, like, woohoo! Wow, Marnie, thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. It's like, peeps, I should put a disclaimer. Please take a notebook and write down while you're hearing this, because this is wow. Thank you so much. I mean, well, it's like I know that I would not want it to stop, but we have to stop at some point somehow. But if people would like to, to stalk you, follow you, stay in contact with you, where can they find you? I mean, I assume now that they will grab you and not let you go.
So Facebook is actually a great place, Marnie Barranco. I'm on there a lot, so you can find me there. I have an Access Consciousness page as well, so that's accessconsciousness.com/Marnie Barranco. So you can find me there. And what else? I'm on Skype. Sorry, I have a loud truck going by. Sorry. So, but I would say my Access page, you can Facebook me. Marnie Barranco is my Skype name. I'm on, all kinds of places. So you can find me there, and would love to connect.
Thank you so much, Marnie.
Thank you.
I'm filled with gratitude for what you shared today. And it's like, such a simple to, who am I today? Who are you today? Wow, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you
so
much.
Until next time in a live class or somewhere virtually, kisses and hugs from Belgium. And all of you, see you soon.